Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video we take a look at Hello Puppets with a video that aims to explain its mysterious story and what exactly happened to the cast and crew of this once popular puppet show. If you're new to Hello Puppets and wondering what the heck it is, then check out my playthrough to familiarise yourself with the full game. However, if you just want the rundown on the story and its characters, stay tuned as we rewind to 1985 when a new puppet show called Mortimer's Handeemen was aired on television sets across America. Mortimer's Handeemen was a family-friendly show featuring both humans and puppets, created by a puppeteer called Owen Guberson. Owen first designed the show's characters in 1978, however the first episode didn't air until many years later. It seems the creation of these puppets was a long and challenging process and a labour of love by Owen. Mortimer's Handeemen ran for many years during the 1980s until a horrific fire erupted at the show's headquarters on Tuesday, February 24th of an undisclosed year. This mysterious accident caused the death of 8 cast members and a further 7 to be seriously injured. It brought about the end of the show and the studio was closed down after. Children would visit the studios to take part in the recording of the shows, which were often educational in their presentation. It seems as though Mortimer's Handeemen was similar to other shows of the era, such as Sesame Street, in terms of its tone and appeal. It was even described as better than the Muppets by the San Diego Sun-Times Examiner, for whatever that's worth. There were 4 puppets that made up the central cast of the show. Mortimer Handy. Owen's original legendary top-secret design baffled puppet makers the world over with its nuance and lifelike motions. Owen often says, "Mortimer is more me than I am." Riley Ruckus. Beloved by fans for her love of science and her catchphrase, "More data." Riley loves her dog Roscoe, who is always by her side and required 2 people to operate. Daisy Danger, a helpful, friendly homemaker and party planner, but if she gets mad, watch out. She becomes Daisy Danger and you better stay out of her way. Knick Knack is the artistic one, in charge of putting on shows, theatre, poetry, music, etc. Nick is always at odds with the methodical, precise Riley. These descriptions not only give us a little background information for each character from the show, but they also give us insight into the troubled creator behind it, Owen Guberson, a man who felt as if his creation Mortimer contained a piece of himself within. After many years, a college journalist sneaks into the abandoned studio where Mortimer's Handeemen was filmed all those years ago to get a scoop for his editor's Halloween issue.
Hey, it's me, your intrepid editor. You ever hear of that old decommissioned warehouse, the one where they used to film that old kid show from the 80s? It's supposed to be haunted. See if you can sneak in, take some pictures, write something up, but don't go crazy, because we're a college paper, not Woodward and Bernstein. Just call me when you're done.
This is the character we play as during the game, and so this seems like the best place to begin explaining exactly what went on in this decommissioned warehouse after the tragic accident back in the late 1980s, although let's be honest, that probably wasn't an accident. It isn't long before we run into Mortimer Handy himself, who greets us with open arms and allows us to choose one of several puppets.
Well, hello, old bean! What brings you to this strange little scene? Because I'm giving you your very own Handeemen puppet.
However, shortly after we make our selection, we find Mortimer is not actually being controlled by his puppeteer. Rather, he is the one controlling them. He casts a spell which places us under the control of the puppet we just placed on our own hand.
Arise, puppet! Arise! And claim the soul of this host for your prize!
However, for whatever reason, the spell doesn't take hold of us, and so when our puppet scout awakens us to begin testing for scientist Riley Ruckus, this comes as quite a surprise.
No, you're supposed to be out! A zombie! Zonked! I'm supposed to control you completely!
Welcome to Puppet Host Orientation.
Wait a minute! I think there's something wrong with my host!
Scout decides to form a pact with her new host. If we play along and pretend she's in control of our body, we can work together in an attempt to escape. You see, Scout has had enough of the puppets who have gained control over their human creators and now run riot throughout the facility. She explains how this happened in a super snappy monologue.
I don't have time to explain everything to you, but basically you're in a decommissioned soundstage filled with murderous sentient puppets from a cancelled children's TV show who were brought to life by an evil voodoo spell, and now they want to drain your life force in order to sustain themselves so they can bring their cancelled show back to life and take over the world.
So these puppets were brought to life via a voodoo ritual and then went rogue and decided to use the life force of their hosts, the humans, in order to sustain their new sentient existence as they worked on a way to bring their cancelled show back from the dead. You know, to take over the world. Why else? They even invented their own language, which can on occasion be translated when we body swap with Scout and see through her puppet eyes. As we explore the old studio, a number of tape recorders can be discovered. These tell the story of a paranormal investigator named Anthony Pearson, who broke into the studio years earlier and eventually fell prey to the puppets lurking within.
This is Anthony Pearson, co-founder of Vox Veritas. We're an independent journalistic haven and blog. We investigate paranormal phenomena and shine a light where the government and the Illuminati don't want light shown.
It is with these tapes that we can piece together exactly how and why things turned out the way they did. There seems to be 6 recordings dotted throughout the game, each beside a photograph detailing something unsettling. Pearson began documenting his findings at the warehouse when he realised the puppets within were alive, and so this was to be his first real instance of a truly paranormal discovery.
This is it. A real supernatural phenomenon, the one I've been looking for my whole life, and it was hiding here in a rundown warehouse.
Anthony Pearson soon discovered that these puppets were not too friendly. In fact, he mentions how Riley the scientist enjoyed mangling her victims. In her lab, he unearthed a collection of tapes recorded by showrunner and puppet designer Owen Gubberson, a man who seemed to have gone mad after being consumed by his work.
People think that the occult is all superstition and nonsense, but I can feel something moving inside of Mortimer when I say these words. His soul is in there. It wants to come to life. I'm so close.
That was Owen Gubberson, the creator of Mortimer's Handeemen.
Owen had always believed his puppets contained a piece of himself within them. This belief led him to research into voodoo occultism, and he discovered a spell that could indeed bring them to life. However, unfortunately for Owen, the puppets didn't behave as he had hoped.
Each of them is who they were on the show, but twisted. It's wrong, somehow. Riley's the worst. She was a scientist on the show. Now she's a monster. And Mortimer, I don't think he understands human beings as anything but cattle. I'm losing control of them. They don't listen to me anymore.
So not only did Owen's puppet creations come to life, they also developed plans to enslave mankind. In the various photographs we locate throughout the story, we see evidence of the cruel deeds these puppets carried out on their former puppeteers. Scout comments that she heard Mortimer transformed Owen into a puppet, and later in the game, we make this chilling discovery.
Ah! Damn it! That's Owen! That's the guy who made us! And then went crazy and used some kind of voodoo spell to bring us to life. Bet he regrets that now. What did they do to him? It's weird to meet your god.
Owen's fate was indeed to be transformed into a human puppet, so if Owen no longer is the host tethered to Mortimer, then who is? Well, this information requires a little detective work on our part, but once again these audio logs tell us what we need to know. Anthony Pearson tried to sell his story of a haunted TV studio to the newspapers, and then when that failed, he approached the police. However, both parties declined further investigation, believing him to be quite mad.
Idiots! Stupid blind sheep, Times, the Chronicle, all of them. They laughed me right out of the office. I got so desperate, I actually took it to the cops. They told me to submit it to Mad Magazine.
This lack of trust stemmed from the fact that Anthony had years earlier been an alcoholic who was known for his lack of credibility, and so he decided to venture back on his own one last time to try and secure concrete and indisputable evidence to back up his wild claims.
The truth is, no amount of pictures is gonna prove anything. Okay, I need a live specimen. I need Mortimer.
Anthony's mission was to secure Mortimer Handy from his current host Owen, then using him as the evidence he would need. He tattooed a symbol on his hand so that if the mission failed, he would be easy to identify.
I got our logo of the pyramid with the eye tattooed on my hand. I just want to leave a mark. People will know I'm not just a drone. They'll know what I used to be.
It seems after Owen was transformed into a human puppet, Mortimer took hold of a new host, one with a symbol tattooed on his hand, Anthony Pearson. This was Anthony's fate. In order to avoid the same fate, Scout and our player, simply referred to as the host, are forced to work together, overcoming many obstacles along the way. From outrunning giant sock puppets, Riley's dog Roscoe, and journeying into the heart of Mortimer's lair, where human hosts are strung up like cattle and kept alive so that their souls may be drained at a later date. We discover scientist Riley has also been conducting some inhumane experiments on her own kind.
Ugh, puppet surgery. Riley loves this shit.
Puppets are strung up, with their organs ripped out, and many even fused with animals such as rats and dogs to create horrific hybrid organisms. Even Daisy Danger, one of the 4 main puppets from the show, seems to have fallen prey to Riley's cruel mutilations, deformed into this bizarre sock puppet. We only catch a brief glimpse of Knick-Knack here while peering through these boards. He vanishes a moment later and is easily the most mysterious of all characters from Hello Puppet's story. During this adventure, Scout reveals her true feelings to the player. She grew to hate the twisted lifestyle these puppets lead and their treatment towards their human hosts, wishing to escape the facility and integrate herself into the human world outside.
Riley always told us hosts loved being hosts. She said the host world, the world where you're from, is hell, and hosts are begging to join our world. Maybe, if we survive this, and that's a colossal if, I could fit in out there, in your world.
Unfortunately, during the final moments of their escape, Scout loses her arm in the cogs of a machine and slowly dies before her host's eyes. However, she is happy that she at least made a friend, the one thing she was always missing before.
I'd have liked to see more of your world, but I made a friend, and there's probably nothing out there better than a friend. I'll see you around, friend.
It's a downbeat ending for sure, but perhaps there's a way to unlock a happier one. If so, I'll report back in a future video. But for now, this has been an overview of the story and lore for Hello Puppets. I hope it has made the game clearer for those of you left scratching their heads about certain aspects, and I hope you enjoyed the video either way. If you did, then remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more horror-related content, and I will see you on the next one.